Hello, I'm Debbie Bell Hosking for FinextraTV here at EBAday 2025 in Paris. And I'm joined by Hays Littlejohn, CEO, EBA Clearing, and Thomas Egner, Secretary General, the EBA. And we're talking about the collaboration which is really at the heart of the EBA. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have the EBA, EBA Clearing. How do the two organizations work together, coordinate together? How does it really work in practice? If I can start with you, please.
Yes, sure. Thanks, Debbie. I think this year we are not only looking at the 20th edition of EBAday, we're also looking at the 40th anniversary of the association. And if you look back at all the things the association has done, at a certain point in time, we felt that it's now time to hand over certain services, like the clearing services, to EBA Clearing. And then that was the moment where the association turned into a kind of think tank, an incubator, and EBA, the clearing part of it, took over the services to run services and products for PSPs. So many of these things we see today have been thought through and at the end of the day also a bit designed by the association before systems have been taken over by clearing.
Yeah, that's correct, Thomas. And I think you'll find that our membership has a lot in common. Not only the banks and financial institutions that support us, but also the roots of the people that make up the two organizations. So we both rely on the participation of users to either produce papers and positions when it comes to the association, or to implement things in the infrastructure when it comes to EBA clearing. The core to both, though, is a practitioner focus, lots of experience, and a real passion for payments.
Passion for payments. Oh,
yes, passion for payments. And I think as we share the same membership, they also allocate tasks to each entity.
Yeah. That's right.
So for you, it's a service part. For us, it's the, let's say, the thought leadership, but also the market practice thing. And this is where we work pretty well together in both directions. So clearing to the association, but also the association towards clearing.
That's right. And a really recent example of that is how we work together on the topic of fraud, which is a real problem going into the instant payments world, and one that institutions have asked us both to take a role in. And so in the clearing company, the users asked us to make a tool that's become FPAD, and we talked about that last year at EBATV. And on the association side, they're looking at how the taxonomy, how we can speak a common language around fraud, so that when the institutions are talking to each other, they know what they're talking about and can act on it.
Yeah, but it's also, if I may, because I think, Hays, that's a very good example. It's not only then the direction association towards clearing, it also works the other way around, because from your service perspective, you see how PSPs behave. And we have seen the different code values, and that's very technical, but we have seen the different code values they use in their return messages.
That's right.
And then the user community came up and said, well, it would be worth having a market practice around it.
That's right. So there's structure that can be analyzed, and that's where the two really come together. And there are other topics as well, whether it's cross-border payments or even actually moving into the new world of instant payments. How do the details work in practice? How do we solve practical problems?
Yes, indeed. And that's where we work very nicely together, also with other organizations. But I think that's really a perfect way to collaborate between the two organizations. On the one hand, the market practices, on the other one, the part who delivers knowledge and insight into how the whole thing works.
Indeed.
do you know, I can see the collaboration in its form here on the sofa. So thank you for that. So we're talking about how you work together. What about the benefits for the PSPs? How is that working? If I come to you first.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can feel it here. In EBAday, people come together, they network, they share insights, they talk, and everybody comes with something maybe a little bit different. There's a lot of similar topics that are talked about in the industry, but this is where people come to talk about payments in a practical sense. And the same thing applies when it comes to our working groups for our systems. People come together, they learn how other things are working in other communities, they agree on how things are going to be done, and something gets implemented. But the thing that's on top of that you don't really calculate into the equation is the value of the network and sharing the insights with your peers. that you don't normally see. It's a kind of a bridge that the association and the clearing company play into the local communities, bringing Europe to the local communities and taking something back from the local communities to put back into Europe.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And also, if you look at the membership of the association, to a very large portion, we do have small and medium-sized banks which simply cannot afford to participate in our working groups. So for them, they go and come to EBAday, and then they participate and they learn from each other. So it's a unique a place to be and to understand, to learn, to network, and talk to your peers. And I think Hays yesterday in one of our panels, EBA at EBAday, which we have introduced this year, one of our participants said very nicely, we're a bank at the outskirts of Europe, and our membership in the clearing company and in the association, I think Captain Kirk would have said, beamed us directly into the heart of Europe, and I think that's really the value we could bring. So we make them participate in our I wouldn't say world, but in our activities. And they profit from this.
Yeah, and that brings real value, and it also helps them feel like they're part of something bigger than just what's going on in the local community, and also helps us deliver services that are needed locally.
Almost to be brought into the center of where it's happening.
Indeed.
For that networking and that value of the network that you spoke about. Talking of which, we're sat within it. EBAday 20th edition. Thomas, if I come to you, goodness, over 20 years? How does it feel that EBAday has come to what it is, which we are seeing now behind us?
There's only one word, great.
Great.
Yes, great. And I think we always thought about, well, what is our relationship? Why can we bring and how can we best bring people together? And it magically forms that all of the people are around. And I think that's one huge part which makes us different from other conferences. These are all payment practitioners. So they talk on real problems, and they know that our both organizations help them to provide solutions to the market. And I think that's the real benefit. And this is also why this event has grown over all these past years.
I know, 20 years. And also that collaboration, not only with banks, but fintechs as well.
Yes.
And bringing the wider community together.
Yeah.
What is your view on EBAday and where it's come?
I think it's really amazing, and it's really gratifying to see it all come after 40 years. I was around, not in the original founding of the EBA, but around the founding of EBA Clearing in 1998. And to see it grow from an idea into a project, into something that exists and is attracting 1,000, 300, 400 people to come and talk about something that the two of us are definitely passionate about and love to share with others.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both. I hope to be joining you again on the sofa, perhaps for the 30th edition of EBAday. Let's see.
Sounds good. Thanks, Debbie.
But thank you to you
Thanks,
both.
Debbie.
Yeah.
Thank
Super,
you.
thank you.